one people, adults say, "Oh, well, that totally makes sense how you're telling me. That makes sense."
Has anyone called you and genuinely apologized and you feel they are sincere?
That wrote the letters?
Yeah. Or
No.
anyone in general? Wow. No one.
No,
Wow.
no one that wrote the letters. Tom DeSanto, the producer from X-Men, he released a statement, an apology statement, which I really appreciate. And um, that was really, I mean, I want to say brave because this is a very, very tough thing for everyone involved. I mean, and that's
Mm.
what happens when people like Brian do what they do. It creates it's a ripple effect. And so that was really cool of him to do. But no, I haven't gotten an apology or uh,
Wow.
sorry. Well, that's my brain. From anybody that had written letters or was involved in supporting him at all.
Wow. What about, online? Man,
Mhm.
like people have had some wild reactions. Other former child actors. I mean, Ryder Strong, right? I mean, they came out. Now they say they regret the letters, but you don't really. It sounds like you don't believe them. Is that still your feeling now, a couple days in,
I
or
mean,
and Will
I'm not
Friedle, or
I'm not going to say I don't believe them or that they're not sincere in their feelings or because that's just not right. I don't know what they're feeling. I don't know what they're dealing with emotionally with this. Um, but you know, if I'm wearing the if I was an outsider looking at this, I would find it very interesting that they framed it as, oh, we're going to talk about this person because we talk about every episode of the pod of the shows on the of Boy Meets World on the podcast, and we're coming up to some of his episodes. When in reality, they had just been contacted by the documentary, letting them know that their letters were about to be released, which they didn't mention, and they mentioned that they slipped in and we were asked to write letters, which we did, but we were manipulated. We were this, we were that, and I mean, I feel really bad, like throwing somebody, feeling like I'm throwing somebody under the bus, but this is just how my perception of it is. Um, they seem to frame this as, and this is traumatizing for me because they were in the courtroom.
mm,
Um,
mm,
and they frame it as, oh, if you listen to that podcast, you would think that they were 15 when they wrote these letters. I mean, you would literally, and when they compare things like, well, it made sense to me because when I was 23, I dated a 30-year-old woman. And I'm like, yeah, you keep using this word woman. Um, like that made sense in your mind that Brian could forcibly do all these things to this 14, and then turning 15-year-old kid. Um, but it, yeah, this is
yeah.
hard to talk
No,
about.
no, it's no,
No,
and
but it's
we can move
interesting
on. I
to
just
be frank. No, no, no. This is my final thought on it is if you listen to that podcast, you'd have thought they were 15, 16 when they wrote these letters. But I mean, Will was 27 years old and Will and Ryder was 24. And I worked with Will on Spider-Man years later. And honestly, I I don't remember a lot from that time because it was so traumatic. I black out a lot of information.
yeah.
And so and I think that's a survival mechanism. And I think that it really helped because I didn't really remember, and I don't think I put two and two together when I was working with Will on Spider-Man that he had been in the courtroom. I was just working with another actor and we were doing our thing and got along. But um, he says on the podcast, I really want to sit down with this guy. I hope he's doing okay. Well, I mean, I don't know how many episodes we did, but we did a lot. And I mean, there was ample opportunity to do that, and there still has been. Um, And I don't know. But that's, yeah, I'm probably saying too much on that subject because like I said, everyone deals with trauma in different ways. Everyone has made mistakes in their life
Sure.
and gone left when they should have gone right and have regrets, and we're all human. And I mean, I'm not one to speak of not making mistakes in my